Hello everyone, this is Samir Kumar Saha and I'm once again live with my Elevate Talks episode number 05. So today's topic for the episode number 5, I have chosen how to succeed and stay competitive using digital transformation. You see, why we have chosen this topic, because with the COVID-19 pandemic happening, right, the many companies have started realizing that there was definitely something which was missing and something they were not even prepared of. Okay. And there are a lot of businesses, those who have realized that a lot of things had to be changed. Either they had to tweak their business model, or they had to be prepared so that uh, losses could have been somehow be lesser, right? And today's business leaders actually face definitely the daunting and unprecedented challenges, because world is actually completely changing faster. Organizations are just going ahead. Startups are coming up with the new ideas in every industry, right? It's completely changing. And those who are still following the traditional mechanism of doing the marketing and doing their business the way they are doing the business, right, over a period of time, they will see that they will have to change themselves, or they will have to adapt with the changing time, and they will have to adapt at a various fronts, right? So what makes this challenge so difficult is that there are no signs that the things that are going to slow down anytime soon or not in your company. So in fact, with the recent budding development in the internet technology, with the new technology catching up, like role of AI, blockchain technology, and all these technologies are also changing the things very much faster. Whereas in one way, startups are coming up with the new innovative ideas, they are executing, they are coming up with a solution. But there are certain industries where the startups have come and they have completely disrupted the old model. For example, currently you can see how the businesses are these days thriving, right? Company like Ola, they are not having even a single car they're owning, but still they are called a car rental company, right? They are providing the platforms, and they are completely disrupting the old school model of buying the car. So the people, they have completely changed. Companies like these are one of these examples. But not only that, right, I think with the coming of a lot of technology in the place, and people spending more time on the internet, and the way they actually consume the data, right, the things have completely changed, are changing. The way consumers earlier used to consume the data, the way they used to research about the product, and their attention span, their patience level of getting the things done as fast as possible is completely, so becoming very lesser. So because of all of these reasons, right, the companies are facing huge challenges. Now, at one go, you might say that, okay, companies should reach out to the customer. They should uh, reach out with a relevant messaging. In the last 4 episodes, this is what we were discussing, that companies should reach out with a relevant messaging. They should be timely. They should understand their customer better. They should also understand what all channels their customers are actually using before engaging while a customer engages with your brand. And also reaching out to your customer in such a way that they should make the informed decision while making a purchase, right? So these things, it might seem easier in listening, but it is not that easier when you have to actually implement, because that requires a lot of things. So when we have to say that, we have an option of using the technology, or using various other technologies which are available in the market, right, then we can separately succeed. But I would say that it's not that easy, and it's not just about technology. So we'll be discussing today, our major topic is how we can use digital transformation. Okay. And mind you guys, when we are saying digital transformation is definitely not all about technology implementation. Many people actually get this wrong, because transformation is not about using technology only. In fact, people have been using technology earlier. We when internet started, right, we started digitizing, meaning everything you had on paper or traditional way of things, right? People started digitizing. So now that you have the things written on paper, you maintain the records in the on the physical paper, but now that you digitalize, so you converted from analog to digital. Okay, but that is only the digitalization part, right? Then came now first is digitization, then came digitalization. Okay, so now that you have the records, now that you people are using softwares to transform from digitization to now digitalization. So where you're using software, you're trying to being more open. But digital transformation is it's completely different thing. Of course it is all it's about using technology, but when you use technology, you have to also consider various other aspects. So actually, digital transformation is actually the integration of the digital technologies into all aspects of your organization to deliver the increased value for your customers. Okay, so it is actually an evolution that you can think of, moving beyond your traditional analog methods to drive your business processes and its performance. So what it means is that you are not only just required to use technology. In fact, you have to completely transform your business. Okay, you have to evaluate your business thinking. You have to first of all understand, right, what is that your business is, what model that you need to choose, you have to be completely aware of. Okay, and it is not just about using technology, you have to also create a culture within the organization. So in short, true digital transformation not only involves the using a technology, rather it involves the creation of, in fact, the new business models. Okay, rather than just the business process optimization. So when you actually think of digital transformation, okay, you have to think uh, from outside in perspective. What it means is that definitely you need to first of all understand your customer, right? You have to understand your employees, how you work. You have to understand your current situation, that how your organization currently plays, at what stage they live in, what are their major challenges of using the technology. So there are so many things. So definitely the digital transformation is not just about using the technology, rather you have to think from the top to bottom, outside in approach, where you will first focus on your business thinking, your business model, that what do you want to achieve, okay, as a business result. And this thinking could be definitely transformation. Maybe whatever you're doing, and maybe you will have to change a bit. For example, retail companies are not just today retail companies, right? They are going beyond this. uh, Companies like Amazon, they are not just an e-commerce company. They have moved into other forms of businesses also. They have completely come into uh, platform business. So Amazon is not only having just a one line of business nowadays, right? They are into cloud business, they are into e-commerce business, they are into mm, they are into services business. They are also implementing the new technologies, and most important, right, they are also empowering the people and the ecosystem around them, right? This is my jumbo glass. I love drinking water from this. So where I was, all I was saying that, of course, digital transformation definitely requires a completely different kind of mindset and push. Now, what happens, right, when we all say that why this push has happened, and I already mentioned, right, that digital is definitely the game changer for the companies to evaluate, because there are a number of market forces that are driving the need to become digital, right? And there are so many companies still running traditionally. If in case I have to give you an example of, there are manufacturing companies in India, in Gujarat, there are so many companies who are still running on paper, although they are a 500 crore company, but still their entire operations are still manual, traditional way of doing the same thing, which could be done in a lesser time, right? They are still following the same old method, not even using the technology. I remember that in one of the conversations where I was invited and other people from um, other domains had actually collaborated in one particular platform, and we were discussing the role of technology. And there was one of the entrepreneurs from Chennai, and he said that for him, technology is actually overhead. And this was actually surprising for me, because I personally believe that technology is definitely not overhead. It is rather, it is actually the enabler. But yes, we have to understand, not from the point of view of investing in the technology, rather from the point of view of identifying the problem statement and then solving that problem through the use of technology if it is possible, right? There are a number of market forces which is forcing the companies to adopt. One of the very important thing which I said, right, emergence of the ecosystem, meaning new ecosystems are developing, new channels are coming, the way people consume the things through one channel, right, is changing. If you guys remember, right, there was a time when Orkut came in, was the first social platform, and people then, that's when we all realized that, oh, we can all collaborate on some digital platform, and we can exchange our thoughts on certain platform, right? So a concept social media actually emerged long back. Okay, let me close my phone first of all. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah. So where I was, so there are many market forces which is actually requiring the companies to adopt. One such things is definitely the emergence of new technology, new ecosystem, which is coming up. So what it means is, let's say, for example, now the people, majority of the people, the challenges of owning a car, right? And I gave you an example of Ola or Uber. Many people in India face the commute problem, right? So traditional thinking was to own a car, right? But now people, without even spending very high amount in buying a car, right, you can still enjoy the car riding, right? So the Ola or Uber completely came up with a new model. So what is happening right now when we are living in the current age, right? So the new Ola and Uber has built now a new ecosystem for your commute. So now the new ecosystem is definitely driving the new change, right? So this ecosystem, and this is just one example. So if you have to thrive in this kind of business, right, where you understand, okay, how people commute, how people come to the office, right, what are their barriers, right, you will have to force your thinking towards adopting the new ways of doing the business. One such example is definitely, let's say, COVID-19 pandemic has happened, right? Now, most of the businesses have gone, everyone is now working out of home, and experts are already predicting that once this gets over, right, the world is not going to be the same, right? Maybe the companies will rethink their method of working, and maybe they will be okay with you not coming to the office. So if a company is not thinking in a different way, and if they are not evaluating and evolving their work culture, right, they will have to suffer a lot. All right. The second thing is definitely the another important thing is definitely the reduced barrier into digital entry. We all know that now that like because of digital, right, uh, the information which was hardly available earlier, right, it has become so easy. You can find any answer while going to the Google, or if you want to know, you want to have another piece of idea or advice from someone, you can go to the social media. You can do a lot of things. Digital is definitely reduce this kind of barrier, and new entrants are coming. It means new businesses are coming, and this is also changing the ecosystem. I gave you an example of Uber, Ola, right? And most important that, right, let's say if in case if you want to invest in the technology, new technologies, right, earlier there was the case when investing in a technology used to be a huge challenge. It used to be very costly affair, right? But now that is not the case. I mean, you can invest, it has become so easier now to invest in a new technology, and it is not very costly. So earlier, you, for having even a simple website, you had to maintain your own server, and then security, cost, everything, transparency, everything was on you. you had to build a lot of infrastructure. But with the coming of new technology like cloud and other things, right, that is also become very easier for anyone to start business at a very lower cost and start investing in the technology at a very lower cost, right? And one of the things again, also believe that the speed at which that you get the information, or the way the speed, the value chain is actually improving, the speed, the way it is improving is actually also making you think in this direction to adopt yourself, right? So this then actually brings out a question, right? Okay, fine. So these are the factors that you had to see, to think from the point of view of, okay, why you need a digital transformation. Now, if you do not do this, then you will be in a tough time to face this kind of situation. I think in the current pandemic situation, if you'll see, right, the market has completely changed. The Especially the grocery owners, retailers, normal small vendors, right, they have suffered a lot, right? I have on a mobile phone today, it popped up, right? And I wanted to actually read out this data, which is the Google search report, which is being and they have released this report, and they're saying that smartphones, because of the advent of the data, with the adoption of more and more data, okay, smartphones and the penetration of the internet to the root, at the root level, right, India is coming completely online at an unprecedented level, right? And it is estimated that by 2020 end, more than 600 million people in India, which is actually the double of the population of the United States, you can just think of, right? This population will be connected with the internet. Okay, now do you understand what this stat means? If in case I have to give you only the example of India as a country, because it will force you to rethink that, okay, if these many people in India are going to be, coming on digital platform, accessing internet, then it will become easier and easier for you to do business with all these people, right? So if you do not leverage this advantage of digital, right, you are going to suffer a lot. So those traditional method of doing the paper marketing, TV marketing is not going to work out until unless it is not highly targeted, right? So what I was actually trying to bring this in from the stats, Google's stat actually confirms that non-metros, meaning the tier 2 cities, in fact, which is not actually Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, which are actually major commercial hubs of India, right? In fact, tier 2 companies, tier 2 cities are emerging actually as a superstars, where 2 in 3 people who are searching, right, on the Google, they are coming from the non-metro cities, right? And there has also been a change in the language. Earlier there was English, right? But there has been also 10 times growth in the search of the local based languages, meaning people searching in other languages. So these are all actually the good stats for you to rethink, right? Okay, how you can target. So earlier it was fine for you to write your content, right, reach out to your audience through the English. But now that if you want to reach out to them, you can definitely personalize your offering with their language in which they understand. All right. Now, very interesting stat is one more interesting stat is that there is definitely the merging of online and offline. What it means is uh, customers are nowadays searching a lot on online, okay, but they still want to go offline to make a purchase, right? And even it has, I have personally done, right, when you go to a retail store, when you want to buy a cloth, right, you always try to first of all search whether the same product is available in any other platform, online platforms like Myntra, Facebook, Flipkart, or Amazon. If they can get it at a much cheaper rate, or maybe of more quality, right, they would love to make a purchase. And most important, with the with the digital which has come, right, customer have become a completely customers have become completely uh, informative about a particular product which they want to buy. So they want to research a lot. So actually the offline and online is merging. So earlier when the digital came in, right, internet came in, people started moving on only digital. But today, if you say, right, you cannot just only think digital and cut off. Rather, you will have to understand how you can use digital to make a connection. And your customers purchase behavior either could be online or offline. Even within the automobile domain, right, people, even if you have to purchase a high value items like car, right, 90% of the sales actually happens through the research online. Although people will not buy car on any website portal, right, but when a customer comes to a store for buying a car, right, they are already sold in the mind that they have to buy a car. It's just that when they come to a store, they come for the experience. They have certain level of end moment glitch or something which is stopping them. So because of that reason, right, they come and they want to see exactly physical. Now imagine if these brands like Mercedes or any other car brand, that if they do not integrate themselves with that of the online and digital media, all right, don't you think they are going to suffer a lot? So they have to invest a lot of money, a lot of effort in helping their customers a lot. At the back end, they have to also evolve their business strategy, right? So if in case I have to say, these are just a few stats, right? And the stats could be so many, right? Current pandemic is definitely changing the schools within India to rethink, right, how they should provide education, right? A lot of companies now, you see that kids are actually doing their classes from home. Healthcare sectors, gyms, they have all evolved themselves, and a new line of business, they have to adopt this model, right, where people have started doing the online classes. Even if the pandemic after the pandemic is over, this COVID-19 is over, you will see that these kind of offerings will still be there, because companies will realize that, okay, there are certain people who would still love to do the things remotely. All right. Now, if I have to say that what are the various elements of digital transformation, because so there are various lines I would say you should think. And one such thing I would say is definitely the customer experience. Customer experience is, I guess, a number one reason that is driving the digital transformation. Okay, because ultimately your customer wants, is highly informed, connected, okay, and they want seamless kind of experience, right? So they are connected with you, they are present on social media, they are present on every possible digital things, and they are well informed, right? And so as a brand, right, it becomes very much important for you to understand your customer's pulse, and you will have to invest on digital initiatives where using which you can definitely capture the data or capture your customers touch points to that data. For example, if your customer is present on Instagram, so you have to be present on Instagram. Most of the if companies like e-commerce companies, they are present on Instagram. Now there is, even if you are a B2B tech companies, I understand that the Instagram could not be a platform for you, because you don't think that the customer is not going to purchase for you. But my dear friend, there is a different angle to this. Okay, today customers decisions are also driven by what your inside culture is, right? And you will see that there are many transformative companies like HubSpot, uh, Zoho, or there are many other companies, or in fact most of the growth stage startups nowadays, they have started realizing this, right? They showcase their behind the scene activity, how they hire, how they treat their employees, what are their values, through the images in the form of the videos on all the major social media platforms, right? So although the Instagram might not be the direct sales point for them, but but they try to keep themselves open, so that if anyone wants to engage with their brand, or anyone who wants to, let's say, work with their company, right, they can easily get influenced by their internal culture. Second thing is, this your employees can be definitely one of the main element who can drive your brand value. Okay, so customer experience is definitely one such element. Now second thing is, definitely you cannot do the justice to your customer if your internal process is not at all good. Okay, one such example is again Amazon. Amazon's value proposition is not about selling the products. What is their promise? You are sold Amazon, you are sold on Amazon's value proposition of saying that, getting your item delivered on time. So Amazon says that I'll be delivering your item by tomorrow, within 1 day delivery, and they are able to deliver it. But don't you think, right, they will not be able to do this until unless their entire their operation supply chain is not improved. Okay, so it's not just the marketing front, they have to also see how they actually uh, manage their warehouse, how they actually their supply chain is evolved. If they do not use the right technology and processes to improve their operations, right, it cannot change. And with this model I have already talked about, right? So I believe the three elements which is actually driving and where you have to think a lot is definitely the business model transformation, your operational efficiency, and the customer experience. And when you have this, right, you will see a lot of benefits. You will get so many benefits. You will have definitely the improved customer experience. You will have consolidated operations. uh, Analytics will evolve, because the moment you will start investing in these areas, right, you cannot improve if you do not capture the data. And data is new oil, right? Using this, you can get a lot of insights using which you can take a further decision for improvement for the future. And this way you can take a calculative risk. Okay, and when you have these things in place, right, you can also think of evolving your new business. You can also think of how much workforce that you need as a buffer, what kind of new areas that you need to focus on in terms of innovation, right? So you have to be innovative also, right? You can easily do marketing segmentation and do, so there are a lot of benefits that you will achieve. All right, but it is not that easy. Actually, I'm not saying that when you do this it is very easy, because of course there are many challenges, and challenges are at various levels. If you are a very big organization, then their challenges are completely different, because they have been doing the things very traditionally. Okay, and you know that, right, when you are a very small team, it becomes very easier for you to make the changes. However, when you are a big company, you have your employees who have been completely adapted with the way you have been working. Okay, and also, since you have enterprises have become so big, so even if they want to make any changes within their organization, right, it is not that easier that they will actually make the any technology investment without thinking that, in order to even come up with the new idea. Okay, and then start implementing, right, they will have to think a lot, right? We cannot just say that, okay, enterprise, if they want to start, they have to start with their business model, right? Evaluation of the business model. So it's not that simple. So of course the challenges for them is completely different, and they have to definitely work on uh, so they have to actually think in a very more strategic way, right? However, if you're a mid-sized company, right, mid-sized company and manufacturing companies, or even small team companies, right, your challenges will be different, right? But again, it will not be as difficult as your bigger company. So many people sometimes say that, okay, if the companies are bigger, right, they have so much money and they can definitely invest on that. That's not the case, because as I already mentioned, right, they definitely have the money. But we have seen in the news, and I have personally faced, right, while talking to many other big companies, where they had made an investment on technologies like AI, blockchain, right, and their $1 million got wasted. Okay, they made a product with actually trying to solve they made a product, and they made a solution for a problem that never existed. And it all started because there was they completely failed to identify the exact business problem, and it happens very often. So this is the actual challenge of big company, right? Smaller companies have a bigger advantage because they can quickly adapt, they can quickly experiment and do that, and losses will be at the very lower scale, although they have the economic barrier, monetary barrier, but they still can change very easily, right? Now, second thing, definitely I mentioned, right, there's a lack of vision in the objective, which is most companies face, right? If you don't have the right vision, you do not have the right vision, right, it will be very difficult for you to uh, for you to actually work on any kind of digital transformation project, right? And then the third thing is definitely uh, your legacy systems. Let's say, for example, if your company is not capturing the data, right, so then it is difficult for you to start. So maybe you will have to first of all start with your experimentation mode, okay, and then only you will have to think, okay, how you will go from and no company can become the digital transformation expert in one day, or you can be the highest rated digital transform company. No, it cannot happen, right? But yes, if you are not capturing the data in a right way, that is definitely one of the biggest barrier. And it happens because of the legacy systems that you have adopted. You never made an effort to capture the data in a right way. Even if you're capturing the data, all sort of information that has not been captured in the right way, the metrics that you wanted to capture, those things were not there, right? And so these are just the basic challenges every company faces. Okay. So the rule number one, right? If you really want to go and start with a digital transformation initiative, right? I think mm, then the first thing I would say, if you want to start, is there something uh, called digital maturity model. Okay, we call it in short DMM. Okay, why we call it DMM? Because it's a term given which is mostly popular in the industry, that's called digital maturity model. What it means is, it is very much important. Let's say if you want to start with any digital transformation project, right? I have already covered that what all elements which actually govern uh, the digital transformation are the motivations, okay? But you have to, when you have to start a digital transformation, right, you have to think in a totally different way, all right? So there are various models available in the market, but actually digital transformation, uh, when you use a digital maturity model, right, it's a kind of framework, okay, you use, okay. uh, when you use this kind of framework, you actually try to gauge your current maturity of the company, meaning at what level of maturity your company is, whether you are completely laggard who is not at all doing anything, or you are someone who is just doing it, okay, or you are someone who is average and doing good. You're using certain technology but still you need improvement, and then there are some companies who are above average, right? So you have to definitely gauge yourself, right? And so when you use actually a digital maturity model, it will empower your business through every steps of your transformation journey, right? It will enable you to assess where in your transformation journey you stand, okay? You can also create goals and plans for both short term, long term, right? And then, of course, you can think of the impactful transformation projects where you want to make the investments, right? So when you actually work on use a digital transformation model, the digital transformation model first of all identifies the basic pillars of your any business, right? So when you want to work with a digital transformation investment, right, do not just think of, okay, somebody is coming to you asking you to invest in a technology, right? Do not do that, even if you are a smaller company. In yesterday's conversation with Ankit, right, we were discussing that everybody should use marketing automation tool to automate most of your automation processes, right? And digital transformation can mean mean different thing to different companies, right? So let's say, for example, I have to give you an example of, if you're a smaller organization, right, and currently you can only focus on the marketing activities, right, digital marketing, for example, right? You can definitely start looking at what is available, okay, with you, what is that you want. But before doing that, definitely you have to first of all see within your company, right, where you stand, how many people are present in your organization, what are their skill sets, right, uh, who all are your customers, right, what is your business objective, right, what kind of technologies you currently use. If you do not use any technologies, then that's fine. How you operate, okay, these things are the pillars. So maybe you can consider the pillars of the digital transformation is actually your strategy, is what strategy that you use. uh, of course your organizational culture, that's another pillar. Then your customer, meaning who is your customer, how they actually do business with you, how they in the technology. And then operation. So you can evaluate yourself and give yourself a rating from 0 to 10. I'm not going to give you the exact template in the framework right now, but I'm just giving you an understanding, right, that you can use this, right. But you have to think in these 4 lines, right. It might happen that in one of the lines you're doing very good, but in another lines, you are not doing that good. So then you have to see that, okay, in which line you have to do the improvement, okay. For example, your company has used the technology, maybe you use the technology, but your company doesn't have the knowledge and skill set to use the technology. So of course your effort will be more towards educating your customer, educating your internal employees, and create a culture and process so that everyone actually follows the process. They understand which technology they have to use, and if they do not use it, what is that the what they are going to lose, and if they use, how you are going to reward them, okay. So this you have to do that, okay. So when you have a digital maturity model, it gives you a kind of assessment framework or a tool uh, along the lines of main core business dimensions, which I just mentioned, right, the customer, your strategy, technology, organization, culture, and all, right. So let's say, for example, if you have to evaluate on yourself, like band wise, if you want to do that, right, maybe so 5 business lines or 5 business dimensions that you can look for. Let's say, for example, customers, right. So you will see that how you want to provide a good customer experience, okay. From this, when you evaluate your digital maturity from the customer's point of view, right, then you will think, okay, how your customers are connected, how they do business with you, how what are their touch points, right. Strategy point, if you'll think, right, then you will have to see that your current business, what all the businesses that you people are working on, right. And for doing that, what needs a push, right. And that is basically the top to down push. Your management has to be very much mature about it. So how mature your company is in terms of strategy. Sometimes it might happen that your decision makers within the company might not be good. So in that case, then you will pull in some kind of consultant or outside view to know like what needs to develop in terms of the strategy. Technology, again, of course, you will see that what current technology that you use and what you need to be done. And then you will see again that how you can best optimize the operations. So here you will just evaluate not just the technology side, you will see what are the challenges that what are the things that you can improve as part of the process. It could be improving your supply chain process, it could be improving your warehouse problem, it could be improving the delivery mechanism, whatever, right. And of course the organization culture, like the way you hire, what kind of people that you hire, what kind of culture that you create, is it the open culture. So a lot of things actually uh, complement each other, right. But you have to think in these 5 lines of the business in order to succeed in the digital transformation, right. So you can give yourself a rating. Normally how we do is actually you can give a score of 0 to 100, and maybe you can bucketize, like say for example 0 to 10 is completely laggard, and then 10 to 20 could be someone who is just started, and then 20 to 30 could be someone who is average. uh, Sorry, you can give a rating maybe in the 20 points, like 0 to 20 could be completely zero, laggard, someone who has not at all started and mature. And 20 to 40 could be little bit, they have just started, okay. 40 to 60 could be someone who is average, and 40 to 60 to 80 is someone who is doing good, I mean above average, and someone who is at whose point is 80 to 100 is excellent. But it is very rare that you will see that everyone will have a score in all 5 lines, right? It might happen that maybe in the customer vertical you might rate yourself as a 45, but maybe in the strategy aspect, right, you might be 95, right? So you have to now then improve your customer score, and a strategy score is a vertical is anyway fine, right? Or maybe your technology score is uh, only 10, so you are completely zero, right? So you have to focus on this. So you have to focus on all 5 lines and then prepare a complete question. So for each lines, right, I think you all need to prepare a set of questions, right, and answers that you have to answer. Now you can ask me, you will say that, okay, how will I come up with the answer, right? And the best thing that you can do is, if you're not using any outside view, is to definitely research your competitor, research your immediate customer, immediate competitor who is doing better than you. So instead of thinking, as I mentioned, right, you cannot be directly zero, you cannot be just 100% in one day. You can only move from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So when you are starting, right, when you do not know what kind of questions that you need to ask, I think the best way is to definitely see who is your competitor and how they're doing something good, right? You can observe them, you can talk to their customers independently and see how they make a purchase. You can observe, right? And then start implementing the things that they are doing it, right? So so you can do a lot of things for the customer. Let's say if you want to evaluate, right, you can do a lot of things. You can do independent customer research. uh, you can think from the point of view of customer experience, right? If it is about strategy, then your questions will be around how you actually manage your brand, okay, how you manage your ecosystem, how you manage your finances, what is your strategy for the finances, how mature it is, right? What is your market and customer, how the stakeholder management is being done. These are the questions. And I know that it is not applicable to everyone, but you have to filter out in which year. A lot of questions which I have told, right, it actually falls for the bigger companies. But that doesn't mean that it is not applicable, because even if you are a business, right, even a smaller business will have their own small brand. They will be investing in, they will be investing somewhere. So they need to have a certain kind of invoice mechanism, right? Then how you manage your invoices. Is your team mostly focused on manually maintaining the records, and every time if invoices gets missed, right, then you keep searching back. So these are the things. All right, in the technology, right, you can think of, right, what kind of tech applications that you are using, whether you are on the cloud or not, right? What is your technical architecture, where how connected your current technology is, right? Operation side, you can think in the various lines. For example, your agile change management, your smart and adaptive process management, your standards and governance mechanism, and how you actually automate them, right? These are the things that these are the lines within the operations vertical that you can think of and come up with the questions and rate yourself. Okay, I would suggest that it is always great if you can take the outside view of your customer, outside, sorry, not customer, outside view uh, of the of any expert. So any expert who is good and right, and sometimes it could not be one person. There will be multiple people, right, who will give you independent uh, feedback. Okay, so if, let's say, if you have to evaluate in the organization culture, organization side, right, so then you can think of how you can change your office culture. One such example is, of course, I gave you, right, for example, this COVID-19 situation is, so how you are going to improve your working style. Okay, what is going to be your leadership style now if the things have changed, right? Do you believe that you should cut cost, or do you believe that you have to fire your employees? These are all things, right, which is very touchy, which is very, it's not very easy, but these can actually make and break. Remember that your employees are the biggest asset. So you have to be very careful about your organization culture. In fact, if you'll ask me, right, whatever I have spoken, customer, strategy, technology, and operations are definitely important. But many organizations actually not does not focus on organization culture. For them, it is always and always about customer. But if you want to focus and excel, right, you will have to treat your employees as an asset and give priority to them, because if they would be happy working in your company, they will be more productive, they will say good about your company. So this will help you attract better crowd. Okay. um, and they will actually relate with what actually leadership team is actually looking for, right? So when you have all of this, right, or digital maturity model that you have, right, this will enable you to make the right decision. As I mentioned, right, when you have a scoring system for all, like cultural level, technology level, right, then you know that where you need to prioritize, right? So then you will actually make a prioritization. Okay, where I have to make a major focus. Okay, and then let's say, for example, if you see that your at organization vertical, right, you are falling very low. Okay, your workforce, you do not have the talent, right? So maybe you will focus your shift towards building your capability first, by bringing onboarding the right talent, right? So within that, then you will prioritize a list of activities. Okay, you'll first list down what all things that you require for building your improving your capability from 10 to 20. Okay, or 20 to 40, or let's say if you are already at 80, then 80 to 100. And so for doing that, you will identify what are the gaps in building the capability, or what kind of capability that you need to build. And then you will make a list of all of this, right? And then you will prioritize on the investment. Okay, which one out of these things, right, you will have to do first, then second and third. Sometimes it might happen that you will choose one or two activity from one vertical, and another few activities from the another vertical, right? So that again depends on the company, or the kind of company that you have. The whole gist of this talk is that when you are small, right, the core thing can never change, which I mentioned, right? Your technology vertical, your strategy vertical, your customer vertical, your operation vertical, and your organization culture vertical. So whenever you have to think of the digital transformation, think in these 5 lines and see where actually you want to make the first priority, right? Let's say, for example, if investment in technology is going to achieve your target, right, your business objective, right, then investing in technology will be the best thing, right? But if you believe that you already have technology, and maybe you're tweaking something within your organization level, right, so that you can make the same people more productive with the existing technology, then you might not be required to actually bring new technology. Rather, first build a capability so that they use the same technology. And even if the new technology investments are done, right, you have the capability built up. All right. So when you make this use of such kind of digital maturity model, it gives you a way using which you will be able to understand what you need to prioritize. Okay, and then what you need to deliver, and then further measure. All right. So all of this, right, it helps you actually create a digital ambition for you, where you prioritize your business model and you prioritize your business. So when you do all of this, right, then you will see that how you can actually, you know, improve your digital capabilities, right? And this is the only way that you can go ahead and start delivering on your digital transformation. No company can become a digital transformation one day, guys. So you will have to rethink, you will have to think properly in this direction. So a company has to really invest in their own talent of researching, right, what are the new technologies available in the market, right? It's never it's about AI, blockchain, any other technology, right? But that doesn't mean that you do not have to. You have to definitely see what are the outside motivation, what the things have changed, what are the things have changed, what is new thing which has come up in the market. Is there any way, right, if you use that, you can stay competitive? That's the most important thing. You cannot run with this mindset that you do not need this. You got to be having a growth mindset. Okay, and that's why I mentioned, right, the organization and culture is very much important. Your leadership team has to drive this. You as a founder have to drive this. You have to be ready to actually accept the feedback, even if it is coming from your junior employees. So you create a culture, open culture, where people are actually coming up with a feedback, and you do not punish them for making the changes and doing the experiment. This is very much important, because if you start punishing them for doing the experiment, right, ultimately it will create a fear among the your employees for trying the new things, because they know that if they fail, right, uh, they will not be rather rewarded, rather they will be punished, or uh, they might be looked upon down. So this is not good thing. This is not good thing for staying innovative, right? So definitely, working on the organization, the culture is very much important, where you promote a culture of openness, and your top leadership team is actually driving this. Okay, they are advocating, they are rethinking on their own culture strategy. They are making culture openness. They are making culture of innovation, where you allow the people to do innovative, to take the risk. Okay, now I'm not saying that you do let them anything, let them do anything. Of course, you have to also communicate in the right way, right, that okay, what is possible at this stage, and at what level that you believe that you can allow. All right, so that's why I'm saying, when you do this, you will see, when you allow this a culture of innovation, right, you will see that your employees will actually love doing experimenting. They themselves will actually come to you. The stats actually shows that the money is not actually the motivation for the employees to work now. Of course it used to be, but these days, even if you give them someone a very high money, right, people will not stick with your brand for more time, and they'll move to some other company where they will see where the more open culture is there. Okay, so when you do this, right, you will see the within your company, your employees will come, they will talk to you, they will say, okay, these are the new technologies available, and then they will discuss. Okay, now second thing is, of course, we also need to have a culture of a feedback, right? So you give a cultural feedback, you see that uh, how a person can improve, because it's not that you have to do innovation, you have to also allow someone um, to grow from one experiment to other experiments. Let's say if someone has failed, right, it's a duty of your manager or the leader to empower them, to give them a feedback so that they can improve. All right, so this is very much important. So guys, if you are working on a digital transformation project, it's not just a technology, which most people think that okay, using only technology, ERP system, CRM, marketing or automation, just forget about. In fact, I don't even buy this term called digital marketing. I hate this term called digital marketing. And those who are promoting digital marketing is actually having just a completely narrow view. There's nothing called digital marketing. You have to understand your customer pulse. If you understand the marketing as a core, the technology will change, the verticals of technology will change. But if your core is same, if you are very good at observing your customer behavior, right? If you understand where your customer is hanging out, if your customer is hanging out more on digital, right, you have to tap that, right? You cannot be completely digital and seclude. If you think that your customer is prefers more offline, so try to support their offline purchases through the digital investments, right? So use the digital as a channel to build the relationship and authenticity and trust, because definitely the people are doing a lot of research on internet, and then only they are making an investment for a purchase. All right, so for a company to stand out, it is very much important that you rethink your business strategy, rethink for all five verticals which I talked about. Use digital maturity model as a framework to rate yourself where you stand, because when you know that, then only you know that where you want to go, right? So for going anywhere, right, first of all, you need to know where you stand currently, right? And this framework will actually will help. So using the digital transformation framework or digital maturity model framework, right, this rating will tell you that out of these five verticals which I talked about, right, the technology vertical, organization vertical, mm, strategy vertical, right, and your customer vertical, in which line that we have to focus first, second, and third, and then you prioritize your business, and then you start working on it, right? So a lot of companies are now reaching out to us also, and we have seen push which is happening is actually in the area of e-commerce companies, or I mean, you traditional companies like Amul and all, they're all rethinking their strategies on actually investing on the digital. So they have all been traditional now, and they all are rethinking their strategy of investing on the e-commerce model and how they can leverage other technologies to also improve the back-end processes, right? If anybody is having any questions, just let me know. So what will happen? So with this, right, I am going to end this session. Do reach out to me if in case you have any question. I am available on LinkedIn. I'm available on Facebook. Uh, if you have any questions, or and those of you who are having my email and those who have joined through the Zoom conversation, right, they can always reach out to me, and we'll try to help you out with this digital transformation strategy. We as a company help companies with the digital transformation strategy, and if you have anything, right, we actually always start with the strategy part first, where we use the framework of digital maturity model, right, where we evaluate a company's current standing and then suggest the future offering or future investment strategy. All right, thank you so much, and thank you so much those who have joined the session. And it will be great if in case you can suggest me for the tomorrow's topic, so it will help me out, give the content that you basically are looking for. And tomorrow we'll be having a new guest along with me, and we will be discussing on uh, other deep level topic in the area of digital transformation, customer experience, and how actually technology is evolving, and using those technologies you can evolve yourself. Thank you so much. Good night everyone. Bye. Stay safe.